think that there should be narration, and it should be using the Dragon AI because I'm on the I'm on the gold subscription.
You have a small apartment near the university and library. You are a lean man of medium height. You have short brown hair and brown eyes. Your skin is tanned from your time spent outdoors studying nature.
Okay. Zaxxas is a world of peace and prosperity. You are Thornforge, a male scholar in Dexos, a town in the kingdom of Yalan. You've spent years at the academies learning about the world and the various races in the world. You've come to the town to study the amazing city the gnomes built. You have a small apartment near the university and library. You are a lean man of medium height. You have short brown hair and brown eyes. Your skin is tanned from your time spent outdoors studying nature. Shave. Yeah, I didn't even look at chat for this one. I was just like, come on. As soon as I saw that we had short brown hair, shave head, completely bald.
You shave head completely bald.
Hell yeah. Look in the mirror.
You hack at your head with razor until all your hair is gone, which causes you to look like a monk. You feel cool and free of excess kilos.
Yeah, free of excess kilos. Let's go. Okay. Admire myself in the mirror.
You admire yourself in the mirror.
It just takes a second to... Okay.
You look exactly like a warrior from the old days of the Nulin Empire. You are ready to rescue the princess and save the entire world. You feel like a new man, quite literally.
Quite literally? That's kind of scary. Quite literally. So there's multiple opportunities here, right? Plus 1 point. Like you can say, or what's the third option? Story. Okay. How does story work? Why do I want to rescue the princess?
Why do I want to rescue the princess? What is so special about her? I should be trying to live a carefree life, going on an adventure. This is my only chance at life. I have nothing to lose.
Okay, we're not trying to save the princess anymore. Let's go. All right, do. Okay, first off, story. It's 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and let's just see where they take it from here.
It's 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
That's it? Okay.
Dot.
Dot! Browse the fantasy internet to see what kind of activities are happening in the city of Dexos today.
You browse the fantasy internet to see what kind of activities are happening in the city of Dexos today.
Dot.
As it happens, there are a few activities going on today in the city of Dexos. A craftsman's guild is having a public showing of their new pottery.
Okay, tell me more. I think if you just hit enter, you can get more. The Dragon AI is a little slower, but that's okay. We're going to take our time.
There is a theater group that is putting on a show at the local high school.
Oh. Anything else?
There is also a poetry reading at the university. You've always been more of a reader than a participant, so you decide to go to the university and read some poems.
On the way to the university, I change my mind and decide to go to the pottery show at the Craftsman's Guild. Dot.
You on the way to the university you change your mind and decide to go to the pottery show at the Craftsman's Guild.
You on the way. Dot. Okay, let's see what's going on at the Craftsman's Guild.
You arrive at the pottery show and see all kinds of new artistic pottery. You see various vases, bowls, plates and other artistic creations all made out of different materials.
Vases. I examine the most ornate vases I can find.
You examine the most ornate vases you can find. You see a lot of beautiful vases. You notice a woman staring at you. She smiles and says, "You look a little lost."
Oh, here we go, here we go. Say. Oh, do I?
You say, "Oh, do I?" Yeah. You don't look like you know what to do with a vase. You giggle at her joke. She is very funny.
Hey. I think I know what you do with a vase. It's very simple. You just have to put something in it.
You say, "I think I know what you do with the vase. It's very simple, you just have to put something." The woman blushes and covers her mouth as she giggles. You spend hours talking to the woman. In that time you learn her name is Talia and that she works in the university as a teacher.
Okay. What do you teach at the university?
You say, "What do you teach at the university?" Talia explains that she teaches history. She then goes on to explain what her favorite parts of history are.
Oh, really?
She is most fascinated by the Nulin Empire.
Let's see how advanced they can get here. Ask which ex-American presidents she thinks I could beat in a fight.
You ask which ex-American presidents she thinks you could beat in a fight.
Thinking?
Talia laughs as she says, "They're all dead." Oh. But if they weren't?
I mean, they're not all dead. Yeah, if they weren't. It's thinking?
Could I beat them? Yeah, sure. You could beat anyone you set your mind to. You smile and say, "I bet you I could take down a T-Rex."
I notice I am taking the conversation down a Redditor style path and change the topic slyly to the many rich leather bound books I own.
You notice you are taking the conversation down a Redditor style path and change the topic slyly to the many rich leather-bound books you own. You talk about the books for some time. The conversation is very interesting. Eventually, Talia says she has to go and enters the university. You are alone again and a bit sad that she left so soon.
Text her, I love you.
You text her, "I love you."
I think it's going to work, guys. Thinking?
You spend the rest of the day picking your nose and walking around aimlessly. Eventually, you go home. It has been a pretty good day.
Oh, okay. Go to sleep.
You go to sleep.
Left undelivered. Wake up.
Year 60. This is the last time I'm saying this. If you don't stop, I'll.
Listen Carefully.
You wake up to
Oh.
a bunch of unread
Oh.
messages in your inbox. Realizing that you have been given the information to avert disaster, you immediately leave your home.
Read the unread messages?
You read the unread messages.
It's a little scary. Yeah, even the AI is bored. They're like, come on, do something.
The messages are from an unknown number and simply state that the gnomes are planning to attack soon. You rush out of your home and see a large group of gnomes being led through the streets by Klemto.
Klemto! Story. Who is Klemto?
Who is Klemto? Question mark, you don't know, but you do know you need to stop him before they start their attack. You sprint as fast as you can and tackle Klemto to the ground.
Oh, okay. Place Klemto in a absolutely debilitating armbar a la Georges St. Pierre.
You place Klemto in an absolutely debilitating armbar a la Georges St. Pierre's. The next day you wake up in a hospital with your arm in a
You should
cast.
see the other guy.
They say Klemto is in even worse condition and is currently in the custody of the KSO Homeland Security.
Phoned Kuzo Homeland Security and demand Klemto's execution.
You phone KSO Homeland Security and demand Klemto's execution. They agree to your demand and say they will hold the execution in 3 days' time. You hang up the phone and decide you should go and visit Talia.
We've done it. Klemto has been defeated. All it took was a phone call. Put on, wear my finest suit and wear my finest outfit and get in my Bugatti Veyron and drive to Talia.
You wear your finest outfit and get in your Bugatti Veyron and drive to Talia.
In your Bugatti Veyron.
Year 60, you walk into the university and see Talia standing at the end of the hallway. The guards let you through and you
Naturally.
run up to her while she stares out a window.
Give her the vase I bought from the Craftsman's Guild pottery show.
You give her the vase you bought from the Craftsman's Guild pottery show. You give her the vase and she thanks you while giving you a hug and a peck on the cheek.
You should know. Talia gave me a kiss on the cheek on my way in. Say, I don't know what you do with this thing, but I'm glad you seem to like it.
You say, I don't know what you do with this thing, but I'm glad you seem to like it.
You are loved. You gain
You
3
thank her
points.
for the hug and then ask her about her day. She says there is a big protest going on in the city against the KSO government.
How do you feel about the Kuzo government?
You say, how do you feel about the KSO government? She says that most of her friends think the KSO government is corrupt and needs to be overthrown. You mention that you hope she isn't friends with those radical protesters.
Oh, the gnomes of Yalan have secretly transported a giant army to the shores of Kuzos. They are prepared to launch a surprise attack within days. The Royal Bank of Orlania has reported a run on the currency by the citizens. It is rumored that a group of gnomes are buying up gold to influence the markets. I think they're pretty cool. They're going to execute Klemto in 3 days because I asked them to.
You say, I think they're pretty cool. They're going to execute Clemto in 3 days because I asked. You say you think they're pretty cool. She asks why and you explain that he is being executed because of what happened last year.
Last year, year 59, I put him in a killer armbar and knocked him unconscious.
You say I put him in a killer armbar and knocked him unconscious. She giggles.
Ooh, we're in. Say goodbye, I have to go.
You say goodbye, I have to go.
Return.
She says goodbye and you turn around and leave the university. You get in your car and drive to the Craftsman's Guild for your stop there.
Go home and prepare for the gnome invasion by outfitting Kuzos with a series of traps, makeshift traps, much like Kevin McAllister did in the 1991 film Home Alone.
You go home and prepare for the gnome invasion by outfitting Kuzos with a series of makeshift traps much like Kevin McAllister did in the 1990s. You go home and spend the next few weeks outfitting the Kuso towns with various traps to stop the gnomes in their tracks. The whole time you avoid your mother who is furious with you.
What? Find out why my mom is mad at me.
You find out why your mom is mad at you.
It's thinking.
You go up to your room and find a letter in your mailbox. It says, "Greetings, your actions last year have caused much worry among the Kusos."
I don't even know who the Kuzos are, dude. Give me another line. Line?
Many of us are wondering if you really are a friend of the Kusos. Speak with me before the trial of Clemtopug. It would be wise for you to do so.
Clemtopug? I need to see who wrote me the letter. I hit enter. Who wrote me the letter? Yeah, plus it's been weeks.
You notice the seal of the royal family of Kuso. This doesn't look good for you. Things have been great for you and your book is selling well.
This doesn't look good for you. Things have been great for you and your book is selling well. What book did I write again?
What book did I write? It doesn't matter. What matters is that I have to speak with the king about
Apparently it doesn't
something
matter.
very important.
Apparently it doesn't matter. Well, okay, that's fine. Speak to the king.
You speak to the king. You tell your mom what is going on and you get in your car and drive to the capital.
It's a Bugatti Veyron.
Yalesta.
It has a
You
name.
arrive at the royal palace of Yalestu and go through security.
Place the 10 copies of my book I brought on the security conveyor belt and read the title aloud to myself.
You place the 10 copies
You think you're
of your
smart,
book
game?
you brought on the security conveyor belt and read the title aloud to yourself. The security officer says that under no circumstances can you bring the book inside.
Say. Which book is that? Again?
You say, which book is that, again? The book I wrote about the gnomes last year.
What?
Also, please empty your pockets and take off your jacket.
Now you wrote the
Comply with
book.
the officer's demands and walk through the metal detector. It beeps.
It beeps! So people told me to use hanging sentences and let the AI come up with the answer. Luckily for me, inside of my books, I smuggled in.
Luckily for me, inside of my books I smuggled in. You go through the security process again. This time, you make it through security with no problems. The king is waiting for you in his royal chambers.
He's done it. Assemble the 3D printed resin crossbow I had smuggled into the palace inside my prison pocket.
You assemble the 3D printed resin crossbow you had smuggled into the palace inside your prison pocket.
That's correct. That's how it went down.
You sneak the 3D printed crossbow up to the royal chambers. The king is waiting for you in his royal chambers.
Retrieve Hundun's arrow of light from the sun challenge and knock it in the crossbow.
You retrieve Hundun's arrow of light from the sun challenge and knock it in the crossbow. You place the arrow and pull back the string. The king notices you and speaks. He says, "What are you doing here, boy?"
Boy! Check this out. You ready? Say, "Watch out behind you, king!"
You say, "Watch out behind you, king." In your peripheral vision you see a dark blur. You fire the arrow at the king. The arrow is released from the crossbow and flies right towards the king. You scream and fall over.
You say, "Thank God the arrow missed you and hit the demon behind you."
You say, "Thank God the arrow missed you and hit the demon behind you." The king then laughs and says, "You fell for the old trick arrow in the cake trick. I was wondering when someone would try that."
You fell for the old trick arrow in the cake trick. I was wondering when someone would try that.
The king stands up and says, "You'll have to come up with something better than that if you want to kill me." The king is about to pull off his mask.
Continue. Thinking.
You back away and fire the 3D printed arrow at the king. The arrow flies towards the king. The king pulls off his mask and catches the arrow with his hand.
Oh my God, he's so strong. Say, "Joke's on you. I've got another frickin' arrow."
You say, "Joke's on you. I've got another frickin' arrow." You fire another arrow at the king. The king catches this one as well and throws it back.
He caught that one?
You catch your own arrow and pull out another one.
He threw it at me and
You
I caught
fire
it?
at the king.
Okay, keep it going. Keep it going. Now we're just playing catch.
The king pulls out a crossbow and fires it at you. You duck and the arrow flies over your head. You fire another arrow at the king and hit him in the shin.
Say, "You used to be the king, and then you took an arrow to the knee."
You say you used to be the king, and then you took an arrow to the knee. You fire another 3D printed arrow at the king. The king falls to the floor and fires his crossbow at you. You dodge and the arrow hits the wall of the castle.
It's always 3D printed. The king falls to the floor. Sorry, king, but you forgot the most important rule of all. The floor is lava.
You say sorry, king, but you forgot the most important rule of all. The floor is lava. You throw a 3D printed block of resin at the king. It lands next to him and he slips and falls into it. You run over to the king and make sure he is dead.
Check the king's pulse.
You check the king's pulse. You check the king's pulse and find that he has none. You step back and see the group of guards rushing into the room.
Don the king's mask and assume the throne.
You don the king's mask and assume the throne.
They can't kill the king. It's against their prime directive.
You put on the king's mask and grab your crossbow. As the guards rush in, you fire the crossbow at them, killing several. Your actions cause the guards to hesitate.
I kind of regret the whole crossbow thing. It seems like that's become a very dominant part of the narrative here. Shoot the crossbow like Legolas with an accuracy rate not unlike Legolas. And with my other hand, text Talia, I'll be there soon.
You shoot the crossbow with an accuracy rate not unlike Legolas, and with your other hand text Talia, I'll be there soon. You fire the last bolt in the crossbow and turn to a guard and stab him through the chest.
Oh my god.
You run over to grab his sword while he collapses to the floor.
Okay. Okay, we got to get off of this violent arc and come to some kind of resolution in the story. As I now wear the mask of the king, I am the king. You cannot harm me.
You say, as I now wear the mask of the king, I am the king. You cannot harm me. You run over to the dead guard and grab his sword. You then turn to the guards in the room. You swing at them with a cry of rage.
We gotta get on nonviolence. Propose a truce to the guards.
You propose a truce to the guards.
Hold on, Tomo wants to leave. Oh, sorry, Tomo.
You hold out your sword and motion for all of the guards to go in peace. You turn to the next guard and motion for him to leave as well.
Story. The guards accept my truce, my offer of a truce. I am now the king. Do I use I or you? You. Okay, thank you. You are now the king of.
The guards accept my offer of a truce. You are now the king of.
I forgot the name of the place, so.
New Lycia.
Oh! New Lycia. New Lycia's citizens welcome you. Oh, world events. The merfolk of the deep sea have an announcement to make. They're claiming rights to the lands of the river. They promise to cause chaos if their claim isn't taken seriously. Welcome you with a 99% approval rating. Ask Talia to be your queen, and she accepts. But after that,
Newlicious citizens welcome you with a 99% approval rating. You ask Talia to be your queen and she accepts, but after things take a downward spiral for you.
Tell me more.
Talia turns out to be a Darrow, but she really doesn't have a problem with you.
Research what a Darrow is.
You research what a Darrow is.
This is an amazing piece of technology.
The Darrow are a race of evil 2-foot-tall humanoids that live in the Dark Lands. They are servants of the Great Lich Lord and take delight in
Great
causing
Lich
senseless
Lord!
mayhem and chaos.
Okay, I'm creating my own quest here. First off, ask Talia how I never noticed she was only 2 feet tall.
You ask Talia how you never noticed she was only 2 feet tall.
I'd like to see how she's gonna get herself out of this one.
Talia admits to you that she used a shrinking potion to make herself smaller. She also says that she didn't expect the king to die so easily and that was why she poisoned him.
But you didn't poison him. I killed him by making him slip on a block of resin after I shot him in the shin with a 3D printed crossbow bolt.
You say but you didn't poison him. I killed him by making him slip on a block of resin after I shot him in the shin with... You soon learn that Talia has been talking with the Darrow leader who goes by the name of Grolik. She says she will be taking over a majority of the city and become your queen.
Say, that sounds good with me. I just have one demand.
You say that sounds good with me. I just have one demand.
Give it one sec. Give it one sec.
You tell Talia that you want to have an equal say in the running
No,
of New Lisha.
wrong.
I don't see why that would be a problem, she says.
And can Tuesdays still be taco night?
You say can Tuesdays still be taco night? Of course, Talia says as she walks away to consult with the other Darrow leaders. Days pass and things turn for the worse.
How do you get to the end? Because I think that's a great place for story 1 to be done. You just type die?
You die.
End scene.
You sit on your throne in boredom as you wait for something to happen. Eventually a large explosion is heard coming from the room where your Darrow friends
No,
were
that's
staying.
the next
The
book.
end.
That's the next book.
Note, this was a playable story, but my writing isn't very good so I didn't really enjoy myself.
What are you talking about? That was fun.